Nobody expected Young Thug's case to explode like this, because what just came out in court allegedly changed everything people thought they knew about the murder of YFN Big Nut. One minute, the internet was convinced Young Thug was secretly pulling strings behind one of Atlanta's darkest street wars, and the next minute, Lil Woody allegedly became the center of a story so messy, so dangerous, and so unbelievable that even people inside the courtroom reportedly looked stunned. And here's where things get scary. Sources close to the case are now claiming that behind closed doors, Young Thug's legal team started pushing a completely different narrative, one that quietly pointed the finger away from YSL leadership and directly toward Lil Woody himself. The same Lil Woody who spent years being called the prosecution's star witness. The same man who allegedly told police one story, then walked into court years later and practically blew the entire case apart with his own words. Viewers, this wasn't just courtroom drama anymore. This turned into betrayal, fear, revenge, and survival. Because once Lil Woody allegedly admitted he was good at lying, social media instantly went into meltdown mode. Fans started asking the question nobody wanted to say out loud. What if the streets blamed the wrong person this whole time? And once rumors started spreading that Young Thug allegedly knew more than he was saying about who really pulled the trigger on YFN Big Nut, the internet completely lost control. Fake leaked texts started circulating. Old interviews resurfaced overnight. Atlanta blogs started posting cryptic messages. Even rap insiders began hinting that people connected to the case were panicking behind the scenes. But the most chilling part? Some fans believe Lil Woody may have accidentally exposed himself while trying to protect someone else. And if that's true, this entire story is way darker than anybody imagined. To really understand why this situation shook the entire hip-hop world, you have to go back before the courtroom chaos, before the viral headlines, before Lil Woody allegedly started switching stories in front of the jury. Because according to people close to Atlanta's rap scene, the tension between these camps had been building for years, and almost everybody involved knew eventually something terrible was going to happen. At the center of everything was Donovan Thomas Jr., better known on the streets as YFN Big Nut. Now online, people throw his name around like he was just another figure in a gang indictment, but insiders say Big Nut had real influence in Atlanta long before the murder ever happened. He wasn't just standing around in music videos or hanging around rappers for clout. People connected to the industry claimed he was deeply tied into the movement that helped push several Atlanta artists into the spotlight. And that's where things start getting complicated. Because Big Nut allegedly had connections to both the streets and the music industry at the exact same time. According to reports that later surfaced during the YSL RICO trial, Big Nut was closely connected to YFN Lucci's circle and had deep ties in the Summerhill area of Atlanta. He was reportedly helping manage artists, making industry moves behind the scenes, and building relationships that placed him right in the middle of Atlanta's exploding rap culture. But while the music industry saw ambition, the streets allegedly saw power. And power in Atlanta during that era came with enemies. Especially when YSL and YFN tensions allegedly started turning personal. Now this is where Young Thug enters the story. By 2014 and early 2015, Young Thug wasn't just becoming one of the hottest rappers in the country, he was creating an entire movement around YSL. Fans saw it as music, fashion, lifestyle, and culture. But prosecutors later tried to paint something much darker behind the scenes. They claimed YSL was operating like an organized street crew tied to violence happening across Atlanta. Young Thug's supporters called the accusations ridiculous. But investigators allegedly believed something much bigger was happening underneath the fame. And according to rumors that exploded years later, Big Nut's murder became one of the key moments prosecutors used to connect everything together. But before the shooting even happened, things were already spiraling. Street whispers claimed there had been robberies, disrespect, personal grudges, and revenge threats happening behind the scenes involving people connected to both sides. One of the names that kept popping up over and over again? Lil Woody. At first, most casual fans barely even knew who Lil Woody was. He wasn't the superstar rapper in front of cameras every day. He wasn't the face of the movement. But according to insiders, Woody allegedly had connections deep enough that people around Atlanta knew his name carried weight. And then came the rumors that changed everything. Allegedly, shortly before Big Nut's murder, Lil Woody had gotten into serious personal conflict connected to YFN circles. Stories started spreading that there had been robbery situations, stolen items, threats, and growing paranoia. Some people claimed Woody felt pressure from multiple directions at once. The streets were heating up fast. And according to fake insider leaks that later exploded online, certain people allegedly believed Big Nut had become dangerous because he supposedly knew too much. Now whether that was true or not is still debated today. But once those rumors started circulating, the atmosphere allegedly became toxic overnight. People stopped trusting each other. Phone calls allegedly became more secretive. Cars allegedly started moving differently around Atlanta neighborhoods. And according to online theories that later went viral during the trial, some individuals allegedly believed retaliation was already being planned days before the shooting even happened. Then came January 10, 2015. The date that changed everything. Reports later claimed Big Nut was outside a barber shop in southwest Atlanta when gunfire suddenly erupted. Witnesses described chaos, panic, screaming, and cars speeding away from the scene. By the time everything settled, Big Nut was dead. And almost instantly, the streets exploded with theories. Some blamed YSL immediately. Others claimed the murder was connected to deeper personal beefs nobody outside Atlanta fully understood. And then social media made everything worse. Because once fans started connecting rap lyrics, interviews, affiliations, and old street rumors together, the internet basically turned the murder into a giant conspiracy board. Everybody suddenly believed they knew what happened. But according to people close to the case, investigators weren't looking at social media narratives. They were looking at witnesses. And that's when Lil Woody allegedly became one of the most important people in the entire investigation. At first, prosecutors reportedly believed Woody could help tie everything together. Rumors spread that he had inside knowledge about movements connected to the murder. Allegedly, investigators thought Woody could directly connect Young Thug to what happened that night. And when leaked interrogation details started hitting the internet years later, the story went nuclear. Because suddenly people were hearing claims that Woody allegedly described car switches, secret meetups, rental vehicles, and conversations involving names tied to YSL leadership. Online bloggers immediately framed it like the entire mystery had finally been solved. Young Thug's critics exploded online. He's done. They got him. Case closed. That's what social media looked like. But behind the scenes, things reportedly weren't nearly that simple. Because according to courtroom insiders, the deeper investigators looked into Woody's statements, the messier everything became. Some details allegedly didn't line up. Some timelines reportedly became confusing. And eventually, people started questioning whether Woody was actually telling the truth, or just trying to save himself from legal trouble. But nobody expected what happened next. Years later, after the YSL RICO trial finally began dominating headlines, Lil Woody walked into court and allegedly shocked everyone watching. Instead of fully backing up the same story tied to Young Thug, he allegedly started tearing the entire narrative apart himself. Suddenly Woody was claiming he lied. Suddenly he was saying police pressured him. Suddenly he was admitting he knew how to manipulate situations when he was scared. And once that happened, the entire internet turned upside down overnight. Because now people weren't just asking whether Young Thug was involved anymore. They started asking whether Lil Woody knew way more than he ever admitted. Even worse? Some online theories began suggesting Woody may have accidentally exposed hidden details while trying to defend himself in court. That's when panic reportedly started spreading across social media. Old clips resurfaced. Fans replayed interviews frame by frame. People started analyzing body language inside the courtroom. And according to fake insider chatter online, some individuals connected to Atlanta's rap scene allegedly became nervous about what could come out next. Because if Woody really changed his story to protect himself, then who was he really protecting the first time? And why was so many people suddenly acting uncomfortable once the spotlight turned toward him? That's the question that pushed this entire situation into another level of chaos. And what happened next made the courtroom even more explosive. By the time the YSL RICO trial started dominating headlines across the country, people already believed they had the story figured out. According to the internet narrative, Young Thug was allegedly the mastermind, Lil Woody was the insider witness, and Big Nut's murder was supposedly the moment Atlanta's street war exploded beyond repair. But then the courtroom opened. And everything started falling apart in real time. Because what prosecutors expected to be their biggest weapon against Young Thug suddenly became the most chaotic part of the entire case. Lil Woody. The same man social media had labeled a snitch. The same man prosecutors allegedly trusted to help connect the dots. The same man whose old interrogation clips had already gone viral online. Nobody was prepared for what he was about to do on that witness stand. Court insiders claimed the atmosphere changed the second Woody entered the courtroom. Reporters allegedly noticed tension immediately. Prosecutors looked confident at first, believing Woody would repeat the same explosive claims connected to Young Thug from years earlier. But according to people inside the building, Woody started acting strange almost instantly. At first it was little things. Short answers. Long pauses. Fake confusion. Awkward body language. Then things allegedly got worse. Prosecutors reportedly started asking Woody about the rental car investigators connected to the murder. The infamous Silver Infiniti prosecutors believed was tied to the shooting. They expected Woody to calmly explain the timeline the way he allegedly did during earlier interrogations. Instead, Woody allegedly started getting irritated. Then frustrated. Then openly hostile. And that's when the courtroom reportedly realized something was going very wrong. Because rather than helping prosecutors build the case, Woody allegedly began destroying it himself. He started claiming parts of his old statements were lies. Then he claimed police pressure made him exaggerate stories. Then came the moment that completely shocked everybody watching. According to courtroom reports, Woody basically admitted he knew how to manipulate investigators when he was scared. That single moment detonated social media. Because suddenly the internet's star witness was openly admitting he could lie when cornered. Fans watching online immediately split into two sides. One side screamed, "See? The case was fake the whole time." The other side argued, "He's lying now to protect people." And honestly, that's exactly what made the situation so dangerous. Nobody knew which version of Lil Woody was telling the truth anymore. But then came the first major twist. Because Young Thug's defense team allegedly saw an opening. And they attacked immediately. Brian Steele, Thug's attorney, reportedly started pushing a completely different theory inside the courtroom. Instead of simply defending Young Thug, he allegedly began shifting attention directly toward Woody himself. And the second he started doing that, the energy inside the courtroom reportedly changed completely. Suddenly the questions weren't only about Young Thug anymore. Now people started wondering whether Woody himself had deeper involvement in what happened to Big Nut. Steele allegedly brought up personal conflict between Woody and Big Nut that had nothing to do with YSL orders. The courtroom heard allegations involving stolen property, personal threats, tension between the two men, and rumors that Big Nut allegedly wanted retaliation against Woody before the murder even happened. That changed everything. Because prosecutors had spent years building a narrative around organized gang retaliation. But now the defense was implying the motive may have been much more personal. And social media lost its mind. Atlanta blogs started posting, "Wait. Was Woody the real target of investigators?" Other accounts posted side-by-side timelines trying to connect old rumors people ignored for years. Even worse? Fake leaked text messages started circulating online claiming certain people inside Atlanta's rap scene always suspected Woody knew more than he admitted publicly. Nobody could verify the screenshots. But that didn't stop millions of people from sharing them anyway. Then came another bombshell. According to reports from the courtroom, Woody allegedly started contradicting himself multiple times while testifying. One minute he claimed he barely remembered details. The next minute he remembered specific conversations. Then he allegedly blamed another man. Then backed away from it. Then denied knowing certain things. Then changed direction again. The jury reportedly watched this happen for days. And every contradiction made the prosecution look weaker. Meanwhile, young Thug reportedly sat there quietly while the internet outside exploded into chaos. Some fans started claiming Thug knew Woody would crack under pressure. Others believed Woody was terrified. But according to fake insider chatter spreading online at the time, people close to the case allegedly became nervous because they feared Woody might accidentally expose things nobody planned to discuss publicly. That's when another shocking moment allegedly happened. During one heated exchange, Woody reportedly became visibly frustrated with prosecutors in front of the jury. Journalists later described the interaction as tense, uncomfortable, and almost surreal. Online commentators claimed it looked less like a witness helping the state, and more like somebody trying desperately to escape pressure from every direction. Then came the statement that changed the entire mood surrounding the case. Allegedly, Woody admitted he told investigators what they wanted to hear because he thought it could help him avoid serious trouble himself. That line spread across social media within minutes. TikTok clips exploded. YouTube live streams started immediately. Twitter spaces filled with people screaming over each other. Suddenly everybody was asking the same terrifying question. If the main witness admitted he manipulated stories before, then what parts were actually real? And once that question entered public conversation, the entire case became a circus online. But things got even darker. Because according to rumors spreading across Atlanta blogs, some people allegedly believed Woody wasn't just protecting himself. They believed he was protecting someone else too. That theory spread like wildfire. Who was he protecting? Young Thug? Another YSL member? Someone already dead? Or himself? Nobody knew. And that uncertainty made the story even more addictive online. Every old interview suddenly became evidence. Every rap lyric became coded messaging. Every blurry old photo turned into a conspiracy thread. People literally started replaying old YSL videos frame by frame looking for hidden clues. Then another twist hit. Defense attorneys allegedly pointed toward inconsistencies involving the famous rental car story prosecutors tied to young Thug. The alleged car switch narrative became one of the most debated parts of the entire case. Online investigators began claiming surveillance details didn't fully match early statements. Some fans believed prosecutors rushed the theory. Others believed witnesses got scared years later and started changing stories once trial pressure became real. And then came the most uncomfortable part of all. Because while everybody online argued over young Thug, Lil Woody, YSL, and gang politics, Big Nut's family reportedly sat through all of this chaos watching the case become entertainment for the entire internet. That emotional reality reportedly hit the courtroom hard. Especially when Big Nut's mother testified. According to people present, the room became noticeably quieter during moments involving her testimony about her son. For a brief moment, the social media noise disappeared and the focus returned to the actual loss at the center of everything. But even that emotional moment quickly got swallowed back into controversy once more witness contradictions started appearing. Then prosecutors allegedly suffered another nightmare. Instead of strengthening their case as trial weeks continued, multiple witnesses reportedly created confusion, inconsistencies, and unexpected complications. Commentators online started calling the trial the most chaotic courtroom situation in rap history. And honestly, that label started feeling accurate. At one point, social media users began comparing the case to a reality show because of how unpredictable every new testimony became. Nobody knew what would happen next. Nobody knew who would switch stories. Nobody knew which witness would explode under pressure. And through all of it, young Thug's defense team reportedly stayed aggressive. They allegedly kept hammering one core argument: that prosecutors were building their entire case around unreliable people desperate to protect themselves. That argument started resonating with more and more viewers watching online. But then came the twist nobody expected. According to fake insider rumors spreading late during the testimony period, some individuals allegedly feared there were still hidden details connected to Big Nut's murder that had never fully come out publicly. And once those whispers started spreading, fans immediately became obsessed with one terrifying possibility. What if the murder story everyone believed for nearly a decade was incomplete? That single idea sent conspiracy theories into overdrive. Suddenly people started questioning everything. Was Big Nut really targeted for cooperation rumors? Was the murder personal revenge instead? Did somebody manipulate investigators early on? Did witnesses panic? Did rival camps spread misinformation intentionally? Or was the truth buried underneath years of fear, loyalty, street politics, and survival? Nobody had answers anymore. And the scariest part? The deeper the trial went, the more it felt like certain people wanted the real story buried forever. Just when people thought the trial couldn't get any messier, another wave of chaos slammed directly into the internet. Because after Lil Woody's testimony started going viral, social media detectives began digging through years of old footage, interviews, songs, live streams, and leaked rumors trying to figure out what was actually real anymore. And what they found allegedly made the situation even more dangerous. According to fake insider chatter spreading online, several people connected to Atlanta's rap scene reportedly became nervous after fans started revisiting old clips involving Woody, YSL members, and conversations tied to the aftermath of Big Nut's murder. The internet instantly turned into a war zone. TikTok pages started posting side-by-side comparisons of Woody's police statements versus his courtroom testimony. Twitter threads exploded with theories claiming key details didn't add up. YouTube streamers went live for hours trying to decode body language from the courtroom. And then came the reveal that pushed everything over the edge. Allegedly, old footage resurfaced showing Woody speaking very differently years before the trial even began. In one viral clip circulating online, fans claimed Woody sounded confident, detailed, and completely sure of himself while discussing situations connected to YSL politics. But in court, he suddenly acted forgetful, irritated, defensive, and inconsistent. That contrast became fuel for millions of conspiracy theories overnight. One side argued, "He's terrified now." Another side screamed, "He lied from the beginning." But then things got even crazier. Because fake leaked screenshots started spreading claiming certain Atlanta insiders believed there was secret pressure happening behind the scenes before Woody testified. Nobody verified the screenshots. Nobody confirmed they were real. But that didn't matter anymore. The internet already decided this story was bigger than rap. Now people were talking about fear, loyalty, street politics, and survival. Then another shocking rumor surfaced. Several blogs started pushing theories that certain individuals allegedly wanted Woody to completely destroy the prosecution's case on purpose. According to these online theories, once Woody began publicly admitting he could lie under pressure, it poisoned almost everything investigators spent years building. And honestly, that's exactly what it looked like to millions watching online. Because every time prosecutors tried to regain control, another contradiction appeared. Another awkward moment happened. Another clip went viral. At one point, courtroom reporters allegedly described the atmosphere as unpredictable and tense, with everybody inside seemingly aware the situation was spiraling beyond normal courtroom drama. Then came one of the biggest social media explosions of the entire trial. Rap fans started revisiting Young Thug lyrics again. But this time the conversation became much more controversial. Prosecutors had allegedly used certain lyrics as evidence connected to the murder narrative, claiming specific bars referenced shootings and retaliation. Defense supporters immediately pushed back, arguing rap lyrics were artistic expression, not confessions. But after Woody's testimony fell apart publicly, people online started questioning whether the lyrics were ever meaningful evidence at all. That debate became absolutely massive. Celebrities quietly started reacting too. Some artists posted cryptic tweets about prosecutors criminalizing rap. Others hinted that witnesses in major cases often say whatever benefits them the most. One fake viral tweet allegedly from an unnamed rapper read, "The streets know the truth already, courtroom just entertainment." That tweet alone reportedly hit hundreds of thousands of reposts before disappearing. And once celebrities started entering the conversation, the controversy became unstoppable. News channels began covering social media reactions instead of just courtroom updates. Podcasters started dropping exclusive theories. Blog pages claimed hidden information was still being protected from public release. Then came another twist nobody expected. According to online rumors, attention suddenly shifted toward a dead man named Threat. The internet became obsessed with him overnight. Because during testimony, Woody allegedly made comments implying Threat had deeper involvement in the murder situation before later appearing to backtrack or confuse details again. That sent social media into absolute meltdown. Now fans weren't only questioning Young Thug or Woody anymore. They started wondering whether the truth had been buried alongside people who were no longer alive to defend themselves. And honestly, that idea terrified people. Because dead men can't testify. Dead men can't clarify timelines. Dead men can't defend accusations. Which meant the story became even murkier. Then fake insider leaks claimed people close to Atlanta's street scene allegedly knew there were details the public would never fully understand. That phrase spread everywhere. Never fully understand. People repeated it in live stream chats non-stop. Conspiracy videos started appearing claiming the case was only showing surface-level truths. And every new rumor pushed the internet deeper into obsession. Then came the shocking reveal that changed public opinion again. According to courtroom commentary circulating online, some jurors allegedly appeared frustrated during portions of Woody's testimony because of how inconsistent everything became. That rumor exploded instantly. Because if jurors themselves struggled to trust the witness, what did that mean for the prosecution's entire narrative? Suddenly legal analysts started sounding nervous on television appearances. Commentators began openly admitting the state's case might not be landing emotionally the way prosecutors originally hoped. And meanwhile, Young Thug supporters online started celebrating early. Way too early. Fans flooded social media posting, "The case is cooked. Woody destroyed the prosecution. Thug walking home." But others warned the situation was far from over. Because despite all the confusion, Big Nut was still dead. And prosecutors still believed a violent war followed that murder. That's the part people couldn't ignore. According to investigators, the fallout allegedly led to years of shootings, retaliation, and bloodshed tied to YSL and YFN tensions. Whether witnesses changed stories or not, authorities insisted the violence connected to the conflict was real. That dark reality kept hanging over everything. Then another emotional moment reignited controversy online. Big Nut's mother reportedly appeared in court again during key moments of testimony, and clips discussing her emotional statements began circulating across social media. Suddenly people who were previously joking about courtroom drama started remembering there was an actual family at the center of this tragedy. For a few hours, the internet slowed down. People posted sympathy messages. Others questioned whether social media culture had turned real pain into entertainment. But the peace didn't last long. Because another fake leaked rumor immediately exploded online afterward. This one claimed investigators allegedly possessed information the public still hadn't seen tied to phone activity and movement surrounding the murder timeline. No evidence ever surfaced publicly. But once again, the internet went insane. People started theorizing there were hidden surveillance details, secret recordings, buried witness statements, protected informants. The more uncertainty grew, the more addictive the story became. Then came perhaps the darkest twist yet. Some online commentators began arguing that nobody involved truly won anything from the situation. Not YSL. Not YFN. Not the families. Not the artists. Because according to the narrative prosecutors painted, the aftermath allegedly triggered years of violence that permanently damaged Atlanta's rap culture and neighborhoods. That realization hit differently, especially when fans started connecting how many careers, friendships, and lives collapsed after Big Nut's death. People who once made music together became enemies. Artists stopped trusting each other. Entire crews split apart. And according to rumors inside the industry, some relationships were never repaired after January 2015. That emotional layer made the trial feel bigger than just criminal charges. It started feeling like the autopsy of an entire era in Atlanta rap. But despite weeks of testimony, despite endless viral moments, despite witness contradictions, despite social media theories, one terrifying question still remained unanswered. Who was really telling the truth? Was Woody lying then? Lying now? Protecting someone? Protecting himself? Or was everybody involved hiding pieces of the story? That uncertainty became the scariest part of all. Because by the end of this phase of the trial, people weren't even arguing about facts anymore. They were choosing which version of reality they wanted to believe. And according to whispers spreading online late at night during live-stream discussions, some people allegedly feared the real truth about Big Nut's murder might never fully come out at all. The second clips from Lil Woody's testimony started flooding social media. The internet completely lost control. This wasn't just another rap headline anymore. This became one of the most divisive hip-hop debates in years. Every platform exploded at once. Twitter turned into a battlefield. TikTok creators started posting conspiracy breakdowns every hour. YouTube live streams pulled massive numbers overnight. And Instagram blogs. They were milking every second of the chaos. One side of the internet instantly rallied behind Young Thug. Fans started posting. They tried to frame Thug. Woody just exposed the whole case. The prosecution got played. Supporters flooded comment sections claiming prosecutors built their entire narrative around unreliable witnesses desperate to save themselves. Some fans even began comparing the case to a movie script because of how unbelievable the courtroom moment sounded. But on the other side, people were furious. Critics argued Lil Woody changing stories didn't magically erase years of violence allegedly connected to YSL and YFN tensions. They pointed toward the deadly aftermath prosecutors described and claimed too many lives had been destroyed for people to suddenly pretend nothing happened. And that split became UGLY online. Fans started attacking each other non-stop. Old tweets resurfaced. Rappers' past interviews got reanalyzed. Even unrelated celebrities somehow got dragged into the conversation. Then hip-hop media pages started making things even worse. Several viral blogs posted dramatic captions implying there were hidden truths the public still didn't know. One fake headline that spread like wildfire allegedly read, "Industry insiders say Lil Woody's courtroom behavior shocked people connected to Atlanta's streets." That sentence alone sent people into another frenzy. Because once fans heard industry insiders, they immediately assumed secret information existed behind the scenes. And honestly, that mystery kept the entire internet addicted to the story. Then came the celebrities. Not everybody addressed the situation directly, but the cryptic reactions started piling up fast. One rapper allegedly posted, "When pressure hits, everybody starts remembering different." Fans instantly believed it was about Woody. Another artist tweeted, "Never trust a story built on fear." Again, people connected it back to the trial immediately. Even podcasters and streamers started picking sides publicly. Some defended Young Thug aggressively, arguing the case showed how dangerous witness manipulation could become. Others said Woody's contradictions actually proved how terrified people connected to these situations really are. And then came one of the biggest debates of the entire controversy: rap lyrics as evidence. The internet became obsessed with this topic overnight. Because prosecutors allegedly used Young Thug's lyrics to help support parts of their narrative, while defense supporters argued lyrics were art, not admissions of guilt. That conversation exploded beyond hip-hop. Suddenly journalists, lawyers, influencers, and even politicians started weighing in online. One viral creator posted, "If rap lyrics become evidence, half the industry would be in court tomorrow." Millions agreed. But others pushed back hard. Critics argued that when lyrics allegedly mirrored real-life violence, investigators had every right to examine them. That debate became endless. And honestly, it only made the trial even more famous. Then another shocking trend appeared online. People started treating Lil Woody like a mystery character in a crime documentary. Entire YouTube channels popped up analyzing his facial expressions during testimony. TikTok accounts slowed down courtroom clips frame by frame trying to catch lies. Some creators claimed Woody looked terrified. Others claimed he looked manipulative. One viral video titled, "Lil Woody accidentally exposed himself," reportedly pulled massive views within hours. And once conspiracy content started dominating algorithms, the situation became impossible to control. Meanwhile, Atlanta blogs kept hinting that people in the city allegedly knew much more than the public ever would. That vague messaging drove viewers crazy. Fans became convinced hidden truths were floating around privately between insiders. Then came the emotional reactions from people closer to the culture itself. Some older hip-hop fans expressed sadness watching Atlanta's rap scene become tied to years of violence, courtroom drama, and public humiliation. Because people remembered when artists from these circles were creating hits together, building movements, and changing music. Now, everybody looked divided, destroyed, suspicious. And according to online discussions, some fans believed Big Nut's murder permanently fractured relationships that could never be repaired again. That emotional angle started hitting audiences differently, especially once clips discussing Big Nut's family resurfaced. For a brief moment, the internet stopped joking. People started remembering this entire story centered around someone losing their life. Comments appeared saying, "A mother still lost her son. Everybody arguing online, but somebody died. This ain't entertainment for the family." Those reactions gained huge support. But the calm never lasted long. Because every emotional moment was immediately followed by another conspiracy theory, another leaked rumor, another fake insider post, another hidden evidence discussion. And suddenly the internet was back to chaos again. Then mainstream media entered the conversation fully. News stations began covering social media reactions almost as much as courtroom developments themselves. Commentators described the trial as one of the most chaotic legal spectacles hip-hop had ever witnessed. And honestly, that description felt accurate. Because nobody watching felt confident anymore. Not about Woody. Not about witnesses. Not about timelines. Not even about what was real online. That uncertainty created a dangerous atmosphere where every theory started sounding believable. Then came perhaps the most controversial public reaction of all. Some fans openly celebrated the prosecution struggling in court. That sparked backlash immediately. Critics accused people of treating serious violence like sports teams winning and losing. And that criticism spread quickly. One viral post read, "Everybody picking sides while families bury people." That line hit hard online. But even that message turned into debate. Because supporters of Young Thug argued celebrating weak evidence wasn't the same as celebrating violence. And once again, the internet split into war zones. Then came the industry fear. According to fake insider chatter spreading online, several artists allegedly became nervous watching how prosecutors used lyrics, affiliations, and public personas inside the trial. Some fans believed the YSL case changed how rappers viewed interviews, social media posts, and even music itself. People started joking. Every lyric getting investigated now. But underneath the jokes, there was real anxiety. Because the trial made it clear the line between entertainment and criminal accusations could become very blurry. And while the internet argued endlessly, one terrifying reality kept hanging over everything. Big Nut's murder still didn't have a clean answer. Young Thug supporters believed the case against him was collapsing. Critics believed fear and loyalty were hiding the truth. And the more people debated, the more impossible the situation became to untangle. But just when audiences thought the chaos had finally peaked, another shocking twist quietly started forming behind the scenes. And it threatened to change the story one last time. Just when people thought the trial chaos was finally slowing down, another terrifying theory started spreading behind the scenes. And according to people following the case closely online, this final twist may have been the darkest one yet. Because after weeks of contradictions, witness meltdowns, viral clips, and social media wars, some fans began asking a question nobody wanted to touch publicly. What if Lil Woody was never supposed to survive this level of attention? That rumor exploded quietly at first. Late-night live streams, private Twitter spaces, cryptic Instagram stories. People started hinting that Woody allegedly looked nervous long before he ever entered the courtroom. Some viewers became obsessed with his body language, claiming he appeared exhausted, paranoid, and emotionally drained during testimony. Now, was any of that confirmed? No. But once the internet locks onto a theory like that, it spreads like wildfire. And suddenly fans started revisiting everything again. Especially the moments where Woody allegedly snapped at prosecutors, contradicted himself, or looked visibly uncomfortable discussing details tied to Big Nut's murder. That's when another disturbing narrative started gaining traction online. Some people believed Woody's testimony wasn't just inconsistent. They believed it looked like someone trapped between fear, pressure, and survival. And honestly, that interpretation terrified viewers. Because if true, it would mean this entire situation was far more dangerous behind the scenes than the public realized. Then came another rumor that sent conspiracy channels into overdrive. Several blogs claimed people connected to Atlanta's streets allegedly viewed Woody differently after the courtroom testimony aired publicly. Again, no proof surfaced. But the speculation exploded anyway. Fans started posting, "He said too much. Nah, somebody nervous right now. Woody know the real story." And once those reactions started trending, the internet became obsessed with the idea that hidden tensions were still boiling underneath the surface. Then another shocking clip resurfaced online. An old interview where Woody casually discussed loyalty, betrayal, and survival in street situations suddenly started going viral again. Fans dissected every sentence like it contained secret coded messages. One line in particular reportedly shook viewers. "When pressure hit, everybody changed." People immediately connected it back to the trial. Suddenly audiences began wondering whether the courtroom wasn't just exposing crimes, but exposing years of fear and broken trust inside Atlanta's rap scene itself. That emotional layer changed how many people viewed the case entirely. Because at this point, it no longer felt like a normal prosecution. It felt like decades of secrets collapsing publicly in real time. Then came the final major rumor. According to fake insider chatter spreading late online, some individuals allegedly believed there were witnesses who never testified publicly because they feared becoming targets themselves. That theory terrified people. Because if true, then maybe the courtroom never even heard the full story to begin with. And once that possibility entered public discussion, everything became darker. Fans started questioning whether the real truth died with people already gone. Threat dead. Relationships destroyed. Crews divided. Careers damaged. Families traumatized. And somewhere in the middle of all that chaos, Big Nut's murder still remained emotionally unresolved for many people watching. That realization hit social media hard. Because despite all the memes, live streams, arguments, and conspiracy theories, someone still lost their life outside that barber shop in 2015. And according to the narrative prosecutors pushed for years, dozens more lives were allegedly affected afterward through retaliation and violence connected to the fallout. That's why the final courtroom developments felt so haunting. Nobody walked away looking completely clean. Not prosecutors. Not witnesses. Not the streets. Not the blogs. Not even the fans who turned tragedy into entertainment online. Then came the biggest twist of all. Young Thug eventually walked away from the situation with a plea arrangement that allowed him to leave jail after spending years behind bars awaiting trial. And that moment broke the internet completely. Supporters celebrated like he beat the entire system. Critics argued unanswered questions still remain buried underneath everything. But one thing became impossible to deny. The public never got the clean ending they expected. There was no dramatic movie-style confession. No perfect courtroom resolution. No final moment where every question got answered. Instead, people were left with contradictions, rumors, fear, and uncertainty. Lil Woody's testimony alone permanently changed how many viewers saw the entire story. Some believe he exposed flaws in the prosecution's narrative. Others believe he panicked under pressure and buried the truth deeper than ever. And the scariest part? Both sides sound believable depending on who you ask. That's why this story refuses to die online. Because people aren't debating facts anymore. They are debating reality itself. Did Woody accidentally expose himself? Did Young Thug know more than he admitted? Were witnesses protecting people? Was the case manipulated by fear and survival instincts? Or was the truth simply too complicated for the courtroom to ever untangle completely? Nobody knows. And according to whispers still floating around online today, some people allegedly believe there are still hidden details about Big Nut's murder waiting to explode publicly one day. Maybe another witness talks. Maybe unseen evidence surfaces. Maybe old allies become enemies. Or maybe somebody eventually decides they're tired of protecting secrets. But until that happens, this story remains unfinished. And honestly, that may be the most chilling part of all. Because somewhere out there, somebody knows exactly what really happened that night. And they still haven't told the full story. So now the question goes back to you. After everything that came out during this trial, after Lil Woody's shocking testimony, after the contradictions, the leaked rumors, the courtroom tension, and the internet completely spiraling out of control, what do you actually believe happened? Do you think Young Thug was unfairly targeted from the very beginning? Or do you think Lil Woody's courtroom behavior only made the real truth harder to uncover? Because honestly, this story still feels unfinished. Too many questions remain unanswered. Too many people changed stories. Too many secrets allegedly stayed buried behind fear, loyalty, and survival. And the craziest part? The internet still can't agree on who was really telling the truth. Some people believe Woody exposed the prosecution. Others think he exposed himself. And then there are fans who believe the real story hasn't even come out yet. That's why I need y'all in the comments right now. Who do you think knows what really happened to YFN Big Nut? Was Woody protecting someone? Did investigators trust the wrong witness? Or is there still hidden information waiting to explode later? Drop your theories below because this might be one of the most confusing and controversial rap cases we've ever seen. And if you made it this far, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe because we've got even more deep dives coming on the YSL case, Atlanta rap politics, courtroom breakdowns, hidden industry drama, and the stories mainstream media refuses to fully explain. Trust me, the next episode is even crazier. Because new rumors are already starting to spread about people connected to this situation allegedly panicking behind the scenes after the trial fallout. And if even half of those whispers turn out to be true, this entire story could explode all over again. So stay locked in. Stay watching. And remember, sometimes the loudest people in the courtroom aren't the ones hiding the biggest secrets.